We've spoken in the past couple of weeks about the idea that your 4th of July is a special day in this country. It's the day you call Independence Day. It's a day to be proud of who you are, yes? And some people turn that into national pride, which is okay. And some people turn it into a good reason to do a variety of activities, like picnic or go in the boat or shoot off fireworks. Now that's all good too. But since we're talking about your spiritual path and we're venturing along on the growth that you're doing, we thought we would apply your 4th of July celebration to that work. Independence Day. It's nice to say 4th of July because we understand it's helpful to orientate yourself with regard to the calendar. But we would encourage you deeply to think of this as Independence Day rather than just the 4th of July. And let's take it a little further and say, let's think of it as Independence Month. And what might you be becoming independent of? And it's not really even a comparison. That's the beauty of it. Your culture has set up, we became independent of another culture, and that's why we celebrate on this day. You're actually becoming independent, period. Not in comparison with anything else. Not, you're there, I'm here, therefore I'm independent of you. This is not the spiritual journey you're on. Your spiritual journey doesn't compare you to others. There's no you're that, I'm this involved. It is I am. And whatever occurs in my life occurs because I create it and I can learn from it. You are not independent of, you are independent within the system that is called Earth, that is called the free will zone. You're independent of the idea that someone else does something to you, that someone else can create in your reality. You're independent of the idea that you can be a victim in any fashion. You're independent of the idea that growth requires pain. Should we say that one again? You're independent of the idea that growth requires pain. Liberated from the old way of learning. Freed from holding the rope. Freed from being in the space that says, I am only here to serve others. I am only here to give to others. I am only here to make others happy. All of that liberation, all of that correction of perception is occurring. Really, it has occurred recently. But this month is a perfect opportunity to really deepen your understanding of how that can be true for you on an hourly, minute by minute, moment by moment way. You have the opportunity to become independent of your previously held assumptions about how you live. You have the opportunity to free yourself from habitual patterns that no longer serve you. You will be given the chance to step up and say, that's right, I've done it this way so many times and it's never felt good and I've still been doing it. Let's change that. I'm ready for that to be new in my life. The energetic alignments are here and you can ride them into a space of freedom from the habitual responses that have not served you and that if you continue with will seriously lower your vibration. And a lowered vibration at this time is even more challenging to deal with than it ever has been before. Because your opportunity as a spiritual free agent to maintain an incredibly high vibrational state all the time is only jeopardized by your willingness and choice to go into low vibrational habitual patterns, habitual responses to triggers. There's no victimhood here. You are choosing, consciously or unconsciously, you're making a choice to go out of your natural state of higher vibration into a state of low vibration by having a habitual response to the triggers that you encounter. How about we become independent of that this month of July? How about you say that my high vibrational nature is the most important thing in my life and nothing comes before it? How about you recognize using consciousness, I know what happens when I have this conversation. I know what's happened every time, and I know how I feel when it's over, and I'm not interested in feeling that way. Whatever else happens, I'd like to take a shot at, because this pattern, I know where that goes. I know where this leads. I've walked this path before, and I know that if I continue to put one foot in front of the other down that path, the end of it doesn't feel good. And the most important thing for you to remember is that if you run that habitual response pattern, where you end up now is so different than where you're starting from energetically. That difference in energetic is extra difficult to deal with. It's not just the, oh God, I did this habitual response pattern and I feel crappy at the end. It's, I feel crappy and the vibrational difference really knocked me on my butt too. Let's have independence of that.